Well, good morning all and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm cutting 570 stems, 21 jam jar posies, a whole kind of smorgasbord of a mantelpiece, a big urn for a demo tonight, my usual delivery for number one Bruton. But the interesting part I thought for you guys would be I'm going to do this mantelpiece at North Cadbury Court, beautiful venue. Not very far from here in Somerset. I'm going to do a mantelpiece and it's going to be a bud vase mantelpiece. And I'm going to talk about how I'm not a big fan of bud vases dotted down the table because the material tends to disappear and you don't get much in the way of wow factor. It's hard to photograph. Lots of things I don't particularly like about bud vases sort of separately dotted down a table. But I love glass, I love light, I love height, and I love floristry when it's not too massed. So I'm looking to make something with real wow factor on a big mantelpiece. I mean, there's a huge space to fill, by using single stems or 2 or 3 stems in a vase, but massed together. So come along, I'm going to cut, condition, make, and hopefully it'll make an interesting clip. Oh, I can never make this thing turn off. And if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, press the bell icon and we'll tell you when we've got more clips coming up. And if any of the tips and tricks we give you along the way are useful, you can always buy me a coffee, or better still, join my club. And the links to coffee buying and club membership are in the blurb to all my clips. I have also done 3 cutting and conditioning pedestal vase and big urn demo recently. So if you'd like to find out more about how you can make amazing wow factor floristry out of the contents of your garden, then do have a look at my website. I'll put the link in the blurb and you can book these demos as a download, either as a 3, in which case you get a special offer, or 1 at a time if you'd like to have a look. The ranunculus are amazing. I'm going to have a lot of ranunculus. My colour scheme for this whole look is kind of pinks with some moody depth. And so the moody depth is going to come with some foliage and all sorts of interesting things. But we're going to have, the ranunculus are going to be our wow factor. There really is nothing like a great big swathe of ranunculus. And to go with them, I've got these spectacular Sweet William. I will always grow Sweet William in the tunnel again. I've got some Sweet Rocket. I'm going to go easy on the white. I don't want it to be too white. But for the tall pieces, the purple foxgloves, just say yes. And look at this lovely Vaqueria Hispanica. Oh yes. That's going to go very well into this party. This is not a wedding, so it's important it doesn't look too weddingy. So I'm going to give some of the depth. It's going to stop it looking too weddingy. It's got to look fun and pretty, but not weddingy. The bees are loving the foxgloves in here. Oh, hello, beautifuls. Allora, 200 ranunculus. We'll get them under cover. It's slightly raining. So at this time of year, we're always kind of fighting between the desire for the sun to come out so that the flowers will bloom and the fear that they'll go over too quickly because the sun's been too hot. So we now have what I call perfect weather. It's very slightly raining, but only very slightly. It sounded as though it was raining hard in the polytunnel, but really it's only slightly raining. So it's perfect cutting weather for the foliage. I've cut all the flowers from the tunnel and I'm now going round into the foliage department, which includes all of my hedges. Look, here's the wild cornus, cuts beautifully, but I'm going to start with dark red Physocarpus, and I've got some lovely big bits of lilac here. So once I've got the Physocarpus and the lilac, What I think is important with this is a big birthday party. So what I really want to do, check I've got my snips. What I really want to do is make a beautiful party flowers, but they need to be sophisticated. You know, this is a birthday, a grown-up birthday, in a very beautiful country house. If you look up North Cadbury Court on the internet, I'll put the link into the blurb. It's a really stunning country house, and it's the kind of place where, you know, not very long ago, the family still own it, but you know, all these houses cost £1 million a year to keep the roof on. They are so expensive, and so naturally it's become an events venue. The family still live there in the village. They make Montgomery cheddar. They're good local sort of farming gentry. I hope you don't mind my saying that. So they've naturally turned the house into a venue. But houses like this work really, really well with very kind of abundant looking, not too matchy, quite grown up colours. So we're not being too weddingy. Look at this lilac. So should we have the lilac? I think we should have the lilac. But also look behind it. There is the rust of the Physocarpus, and the rust of the Physocarpus is going to bring the depth of field in. I had a brilliant live session with my YouTube clubbers the other day, and we talked about working with colour so that the colour really sings. And if you're too pretty, too matchy, it's very bland. If I said to my client, I'm going to do quite hard flat lilac and rust, they'd probably say, please don't. But when this is in place, you'll see how well it works with the environment, with the house, with the whole feel of the place. Plus the scent of this lilac is out of this world. Love it when there are bees working the harvest. Doesn't mind the fact this is all in a trolley. Meanwhile, Fabrizio's making a duck house with bits and pieces and leftovers from doing the studio up the field and stuff he's finding around the place. No door yet, but I'm sure there will be one. So now we have a studio full of flowers and foliage, ready for the party flowers and the demo and this week's piece for number 1 Bruton. More and more and more. And the duck house is coming along a treat. And here's a clever thing, door and way in. And you'll be getting rid of the sticky outy sharp bits, obviously for the poor old ducklings. And will there be ridges for them to be able to climb up? Because that might be a bit smooth for them. Right, Friday morning, party flowers time. First, got to get rid of the demo I made last evening. This is my pedestal vase, urn demo. We made it last night, got to get it out of the way, so I've got room to make all the party flowers. So I'm going to do the boring stuff first. I'll show you what I do when I've made them, but I'm making 21 jam jar posies, a nice pedestal table centre for the morning room at the court. I've got to do my normal thing for number 1 Bruton, and I've got to get them out of the way today, so that then tomorrow in the morning, on Saturday morning, I can set up this lovely sort of meadowscape in glass on the mantelpiece in the ballroom at North Cadbury Court. Right, just got to get that urn out of the way. Oh, that's dinky. That's for the table centre in the morning room at North Cadbury Court. Here's a little something for number 1 Bruton. Right, so now I have to make 21 of these. Dinky little posies. I'm always making posies on this channel, so I'm not going to make the posies for you today because you're going to get the big mantelpiece when I make it tomorrow. But just so you see, oh my goodness, the ranunculus. Now here is the breathtaking North Cadbury Court where I'm doing flowers for this event this weekend. I think it sleeps 70 if you take the whole place, including rooms in the stables here. Everything's been restored beautifully. There's a church where you can get married. This isn't a wedding I'm doing, but it's a beautiful event. It's such a lovely venue. But you know me, I'm the florist. I know my place, so I go to the back door, tradesman's entrance. So luckily I do events here from time to time. So I know that here is the housekeeper's room, and there's my piece. And I've just come in to wipe the bottom of my flowers because they've been in the back of the car sloshing around. I'm just going to make sure they're dry before I put them on the table. So here are the flowers in the morning room. Very Downton Abbey here. It's a lovely, lovely, it's a really lovely house. I mean, if you ever want to come and have a party, take this place for your whole family and really live the grand English country house life for a little while. It's really worth doing. Right, on we go. It's great. This is the kitchen with this lovely, look at that, skylight. And it's got loads of larders and pantries. And anyway, this is the way out through the back door because I know my place. Also towards the swimming pool. I'm not going to stop and have a swim. Look, this is an old larder and it's cool. It's got a stone, this is a stone shelf. So it's really cool in here. That's why they've got the lots of drink in here. And there we are, the back door. So off I go. I'll be back tomorrow to do the ballroom. Back door country. In smart English country houses, nobody uses the front door, really. Nobody. Even duchesses come in through the back door. It's really nobody ever uses the front door. So if you're ever invited to a grand English country house, find the back door, walk in, walk down the corridor and shout, yoo-hoo, cooey, hello, hello the house, or something like that. And then somebody will hear you because always they're miles away from where you are. And so you don't ring the doorbell or anything because nobody will answer. They're always far, far away. You have to sort of wander around shouting until you find people. Honestly. Right, back to the studio to finish up the posies. So it's Saturday morning and the posies are all made. They're sweet, aren't they? I love them. I mean, I've been doing them for years and I'm sorry about the squeaking. It's my fire alarm. The battery needs replacing and I can't reach because I'm only little. So Fabrizio will have to do that. Anyway, here are the posies. Not too wedding-y. No, not wedding-y at all. Very pleased with them. And now I'm going to do something for the mantelpiece in the ballroom at the court. Now the mantelpiece is really wide, and you'll see when I install it. So what I need is there isn't a budget for a great big enormous sort of installation on there. And you can make a lovely big vase and it does look lovely, but it is, even if you make a big pedestal vase, wide pedestal vase, it doesn't really fill the space. So this is what I'm going to do. I've got all of these vases and I'll tell you where some of them are from. I mean, never be snobbish about where you get your vases. Just because something costs money doesn't mean it's any better. So these, for example, Morrison's supermarket, £2 each, which I love. These come from an Italian supermarket. They're bottling jars. I've had them for years and they're really lovely. I really apologise for the beeping. This, also Morrison's, these tall vases, 20 quid, something like that. Very useful, and they're really solid, really heavy. What you want for work, the kind of work I'm going to do is really heavy bottomed vases. These came from the Florist Wholesaler, and you can see they're really wide, thick glass, but it's good because it means they don't break very easily. And then I've got a selection of little bud vases to go along the front. Some of them vintage, come across, I don't know where I've got them from, but some, and I really like these. These are made by a company called Jarappa. They're neighbours of ours, and they're recycled glass. And so just little tiny vases. And I think, you buy them in a little box of 6, or 5 or 6. I think they're really sweet and really useful. I do not love bud vases dotted down a table because I think it always looks quite sparse. They need to be close together to have any effect, which in the end means more work. It makes it more fiddly. I think people think that having bud vases down the table uses less material and is quick and easy, but it's not terribly effective unless you really mass them. So these little vases, the Jarappa ones, are going to be really good because they're going to go along the front. But you can see how with these, there's 20 something of them. I'm not going to have an enormous amount of material, and there's a mirror behind, so the material will reflect, and I can move them out, concertina, the collection of vases, in and out to fill the space. They get trayed up for transporting. So they fit 10 to a tray, and there's always one, isn't there? You'll have to go in the drinks pot by the handbrake. And there are the vases all packed up. So what you do with a piece like this is you sort of build it. So that's the space we're going to fill. So then the skill is to have the vases sort of balanced but not overwhelming each other and not too matchy-matchy. And then when you've finished, you stand back and make sure there's a sort of balance. The colour looks okay. It's not leaning out so much that people are going to hit their heads on it or knock things off as they walk by. It works really well here because of the mirror. It doubles the amount of material you've got. Very pretty. I set myself. And then with the posies on the tables, it looks like this. Même si je le dis moi-même, c'est très simple, très joli, très printemps, pas trop fleuriste, très campagne, mais assez luxe à la fois. C'est ça mon boulot. Good to practice my French. But, oh look, a couple of gaps up there, and I think we could do with some weight. So, right, I'm all done. It's 11:15. I started about 8 o'clock this morning. The lovely thing about working in this part of Somerset is that we all know each other, all the suppliers know each other, and we all have, we're all very good at what we do, extremely professional, and we really enjoy seeing each other. So this morning I turned up, parked up, and there was Nell, lovely Nell from Home Table Dining, and I'm working with her this weekend, I'm working with her next weekend on a private event, a private house. It's so nice because we can all say, hello, how are you? And we help each other, we support each other. I'm really, really lucky. I'm really lucky with my job. Anyway, I've had a lovely morning. I better turn off because I'm still on the private drive of North Cadbury Court. I'll put the link in the blurb so that if you want to have a look, I really couldn't recommend it more highly. The suppliers are incredible. It's a beautiful country house. Until maybe 15 years ago, the granny was living there. You know, it feels like a home. It's big, it's grand, but it feels like a home. And I have to say, the English countryside does do, you can hire Downton Abbey and have that feeling with the best quality, lovely staff, friendly, helpful, kind, nothing's too much trouble. Anyway, there you go. Hope you've enjoyed the clip. I'll see you very soon. Bye.